Hey guys, welcome back to Digging Deeper. Today we're just going to go over a question directed towards Jeff, and we'll get some insight from us as well along the lines continuing our Q&A session from Sunday's lesson. So the question that was presented to us was this person stated that they're struggling with the concept of identity of vaccinated versus unvaccinated. They said that my doctor has advised me it is not in my best interest to get the shot. But all these mandates, vaccine cards, and society demonizing those who don't get it has me up at night. How would you address that?
I'll tell you what, it really is sad to me how divided we are as a nation over what began as a health issue. And it really has morphed into a political issue. This whole idea of mandates and vaccine cards, masks, they use the word demonizing in the question, and to be honest, I've seen the demonizing go both ways.
Right.
And to be honest, it's gone both ways here at church, which is tremendously troubling to me that this issue has divided church families. I've had people tell me in no uncertain terms that they would not come back to church after the shutdown until I forced everybody to wear a mask. And then I've had people on the other end of the spectrum say, we're not coming back until you make everybody stop wearing masks. As if I have the power to do that.
Sure you do.
It's like, really? I'm just a pastor.
Jeff's way or the highway, right?
But the division has been very troubling to me. And I think it's interesting the way they worded the question about the identifying.
Right.
As if now vaxxed or unvaxxed is a part of our identity. Mm-hmm. And I've heard it even go a step further, where people are now being identified as safe and unsafe. And I think you have to be extremely careful when it comes to labeling people. Mm-hmm. Because when you label people, that is like a first step toward isolating, which leads ultimately to persecution.
Yeah.
It's just the way it works.
Right.
Okay, if you can label people, and that's why I get very troubled about the whole idea of having to have a vaccine card. Somebody asked me, are you going to get one of these vaccine cards so you can show it on request to whoever asked? And I'm thinking, how far removed are we from yellow stars of David on our shirts or on our coats? So everybody knows who's in or who's safe and who's out or unsafe. And that's really troubling to me. And there are a couple of different things I think we have to think about here. Obviously, there's a whole legal end of this, which, that is something that I think about as a lawyer. And legally, can the government mandate something of this nature, enforce people basically to do this? And obviously, that's a huge constitutional question. I've had individuals here from our church family ask me, can my employer force me to take the vaccine or be terminated from employment? And, we're obviously looking very diligently into that because there appears to be some evidence that some of these vaccines are produced with aborted fetal tissue. Well, for any Christian, that should create concern. There's no question about it. The red flag should be going up the pole on that for any Christian. By the same token, I think, we have to ask ourselves, and here I'll be talking specifically just to an American audience, as a free people, do we really want our government to have that kind of power and that kind of authority over the individual, where they can require or force you to take what is, at this point in our history, an experimental drug? And I think, to be honest with you, I think each individual adult has to make that decision. I can't tell you whether you should take the vaccine or not. And I can't tell you what is the best thing for you. This person obviously consulted their doctor, and their doctor said no. And I would encourage anybody considering taking the vaccine to consult with their physician and find out, what they think is best in that scenario. But you not only have that question that you need to answer health-wise, but also as a Christian, can you take a vaccine if in fact it is made in the way that we're being told some of these are being made? So I don't think there's a hard and fast answer for everybody. I can't answer for anyone else other than myself. But I think one thing we do know for sure, that as Christians, how we treat people who disagree with us is very important. And to in some way isolate and demonize people who disagree with us, it's a very dangerous path to begin down.
Yeah. So how much weight do you think, I guess in like a Christian walk, how much weight do you think this idea of being vaccinated or unvaccinated do we carry through day to day, I guess? That's kind of a question that popped into my head. Is that something that affects us every day? Is that something that, I know you talked about demonizing people who get it or don't get it, but at the end of the day, you really shouldn't know who got it or didn't get it. Is that something that's going to change us as we go day to day, walk? I almost see it as like that political view. You really shouldn't know someone's left, right, somewhere in between. It really shouldn't change anything, right?
Yeah, I think it's gone. It's one of you guys want to jump in on this, because I just lost my.
No, that's fine. Well, I wonder if it's something that should really affect us day to day as we walk as a Christian, if we, lean one way or the other.
Well, should and can avoid it, I think, are two different things.
Yeah.
Like, we're at a point in our culture where should we know who's vaccinated and not? I don't think we should. Should that be a point of contention between individuals? I don't think it should. Should that be something where people are being mistreated, isolated, or made fun of, or being told that they can't have a particular, opportunity to go to this place or do that thing because they do it? I don't think that should be the case. The reality is we're living in a world where I don't know that we're going to have that should.
Right.
So the question is, what do we do as individuals with that reality? And personally, I would say, number one, as Dad mentioned, you got to make your own call, right? Nobody here, I'm not ever going to tell a person that they have to get the vaccine. Right. I'm never going to do that. Right. I'm never going to tell a person that they're going to hell if they did. Right? Like it's not going to happen. You don't get to decide what other people should do. There's this great passage in Scripture where the Apostle Paul writes, to his own master, a servant rises or falls. Who are you to judge another man's servant? And like the reality is, if you and God have sorted out that you will get it or that you won't get it, then God bless you. Do your thing. Right? I think that's number one. And the sooner that every Christian everywhere decides to stop making an issue of it in somebody else's life, we'll all be in a better spot.
Yeah,
right?
It's almost become a condition of fellowship for some people, which really is really tragic. Yeah. Like, well, I can't associate with you because you're not vaxxed, and we tend to get in. I hate to use the word cliques, but there's a whole clique about, well, we're not going to be vaxxed, and we are going to be vaxxed, and can we even go to the same church anymore? It's just like, get over that.
Right.
I mean, when we stand before God, I don't think his number one question is going to be, did you get the vaccine or not? I don't think he's going to care.
Right.
But there is one thing that I really am very troubled by in all of this, is the amount of fear that I see Christians living with in our world today.
Right.
You would think that we serve a Savior who died and didn't rise again.
Yeah.
Okay? I mean, it's almost, to me, getting that simple for some people. It's like, I mean, if we live in such fear of death, there's a real problem with our faith.
So the problem, what I'm hearing, is the problem is not with the vaccination. It's with if it does or doesn't change, kind of like our character and behavior or identity
How
of
we
who we
interact with
are.
others.
Yeah, how
how
we
we're
treat
viewed
other
by
people.
God and how we view other people with that identity. It's not an identity of being vaccinated, but it's if being vaccinated or unvaccinated changes your like personal identity.
Well,
And you see that, though,
Yeah.
because a lot of the messaging that's going out today is, if you're not vaxxed, you don't care about people.
yes.
Right,
And
which is the
that's-
target.
that's dangerous.
That's the ugly part, because the thing that's, I think, implicit underneath all of the messaging that we're hearing now, and I don't care whether it's right, left, or anywhere in between.
Right.
I really think implicit in the messaging that we're receiving cross-culturally about the vaccine, about this virus, and about the whole process is that we somehow have control. Right? If you get a vaccine, you are taking control of this virus. No, you're not. Right? You're not.
Not
Like
even close.
nobody has control over this virus. You cannot get control over a virus. It's not possible. And the more that the detail comes out, I'm sorry guys, the more that this appears on surface to be something that's a lot more akin to like the flu, something that's going to be here, going to be around. I heard an interesting comment made by someone the other day. Someone that's a doctor made the comment that there are animal reservoirs for this particular virus, right? So there are other animals that can hold this coronavirus, right?
A carrier.
Yeah, that can basically be carriers or holders or reservoirs for the virus. As a result, it's always going to be here.
Gotcha.
Like there's always going to be someone, somewhere, some animal that has the capacity for having and then transmitting this virus. And so the odds that we're going to be able to control this perfectly, like i.e. get to zero, is not happening.
Right.
This is not like a polio or some other illnesses that had no known animal reservoirs, and now you can wipe them out because you can eradicate them among humans. That's not the case here. And as a result, we're not going to be able to control this. And I really do find deeply troubling that sense of you're not doing your piece to take control of this virus, and so you're a person that is
Doesn't
not
care
helping
about
or that
others.
doesn't care about others, or you want to see so-and-so's grandma die. Like, I mean, it takes on that level of insanity.
Right.
And for me, that's a real problem, especially when you consider the very real fact that loads of people who have experienced full vaccine protocols are getting breakthrough cases. Some, passing it along to others.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why there's more mandates and all this stuff going on out there right now, because it's like, well, even fully vaccinated maskers that social distance are passing this along, right?
Right,
So
And now you have to get booster shots.
yeah.
And it's like,
Where does it end?
seriously?
Yeah.
Where does this end?
Yeah, to me, this whole thing it comes down to you want to get a vaccine. God bless you. You decide that for you it's not necessary. God bless you. Fine. We'll love you. We'll support you. We'll encourage you. You
we'll
make
see
your
you on
decision.
Sunday at
We'll
church.
see you on Sunday at
Yeah.
church. Do your thing. Because God's given you a brain to make a decision for a reason. He didn't give your brain to me. He gave your brain to you. You make your call and do what you feel like is best, and relax on telling everybody else what they have to do.
Right. I like that you said it's your call. It's not Jeff's call, JD's call, what I do with my life, but it's also not my call to tell you what to do with your life or you what to do with your life. Like it's that
Right.
personal conviction and the decision that you make.
Right.
Yeah.
And the nice thing is we are Americans and we are still free at this point.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
Yep.
For now.
thank God for that.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's a hot topic when it comes to that idea, but it was interesting how they worded that question when we received it, and hopefully we broke that down for you guys and answers that question for you. But that's gonna wrap it up for this session. We'll take on a few more questions in the next video, but until then, we'll see you later.